Today's podcast, I'm going to talk about how to make your annual income your monthly income. Let's face it, the world is getting more and more expensive every single day. I just saw some statistics over the course of the last 50, 60 years on home prices, property prices, gasoline, groceries, goods, etc. And then how much income has changed over the same course of time. And guess what? There hasn't been a linear correlation. Prices have gone up and wages have stayed the same relatively, or really have not made that big of a jump in order to maintain its relevancy or even just affordability within the market space of what things cost in this world. So what's the only way out? In my opinion, sovereignty, financial sovereignty. That's truly the way out of the rat race. If you want to be part of the rat race, you got to win the rat race by becoming financially independent, where your bills don't run your day, where you don't get to the end of the month and you still have more month at the end of your money. Now, I know what that feels like. I've been there. I've been in that position. And I want to share today how to take your skill set, your value, your service, your product, whatever that may be, and allow you to step into this new place of sovereignty, of financial freedom, where you can turn your annual income into your monthly income. So before I even get into that, what would happen? Just think about it. Seduce yourself. Just romance the idea just for one moment. If you were to take your annual income and you were to make that every single month, what would that do for you and your family? A lot. People who say that money doesn't buy happiness, they're lying to you. Sure, money does not buy happiness. Money grants you opportunities to live a good life. And I tell you what, when you have all the bills paid, when you know that you don't have more month at the end of your money, when you know that you're not going to be struggling financially to make ends meet, when you can go to a restaurant and order the food that you want to order because you want to eat that food, not because you're worried about the price or what it's going to hit in your bank account, that's such a different feeling. Life is really meant not to be, in my opinion, not to be a struggle financially. There's no nobility in poverty. And whatever your riches is, whatever your wealth is, that's for you. However you want to experience this life, this isn't for you. This isn't about making millions or hundreds of millions or whatever that situation is. It's about being in a sovereign situation where you're not crunching money just to make ends meet, ultimately living a lesser life than you want to live because of the financial burden that you have within the infrastructure of your life. And it's really not a financial burden. It's relative to what you're earning, what you want to do in your life, the experiences that you want to have. I traveled this world broke as fuck, man. I did a lot of things super broke, and it was awesome, but I promise you, it's a lot more fun when you aren't broke. You could do a lot more things. Yeah, being crafty is awesome. Saving money is great, but there were some times where I wanted to eat the lobster and the steak, and I couldn't afford it, and I had to not eat that. There was times that I wanted to travel in style, but I had to ride the bus or the train or whatever the situation is. It is what it is. I'm grateful for those scenarios. And this isn't about glamour. What I'm saying is money does not make the world go around, but money pays for the trip. And it's up to you what type of trip that you want to take with the amount of money that you want to create in your life in order for you to live the best life possible. And so I want you to seduce yourself. I want you to romance for a moment. Romance what turning your monthly income, romance turning your annual income into your monthly income. What would that do for you? Man, it would offer so much more flexibility with your family. It'll allow you to take the trips that you want to take. It'll allow you to eat the food that you want to eat. It'll allow you to do the things and provide for your family the way you want to provide, the house that you want to live in, the area, the town that you want to live in, the car that you actually want to drive. Not because you're grateful for the vehicle, because you actually want to fucking drive that vehicle. I mean, let's face it. We've been just hypnotized by saying, well, just be grateful for what you have. I believe that 100%. Be grateful for what you have. It's a blessing. If you have a house over your head, if you have 2 arms, 2 feet, if you have lungs to breathe, then you are blessed. So if you have a woman beside you, a man beside you, children running around that share your name and share your bloodline, you are blessed and you can be grateful. But don't get seduced in being comfortable with not truly living life to the just being optimal to its fullest. Why be comfortable? Provide for your family the way that you can provide for them in a manner that's going to have them live the best life possible. And if you're doing that, then this message is not for you. There's just a lot of people out there that are barely getting by, struggling, hurting financially. And that only hurts financially, it burns a hole in your wallet, your bank account, your anxiety. You're doing things you don't want to do, driving vehicles you don't want to drive, like waking up and working for somebody that you want to work for. And at the end of the day, you're sitting here pinching pennies. And I've seen so many financial situations just ruin relationships, ruin marriages, families being torn apart. I mean, and it's up to us. Let's face it, our government's not going to come change anything. They're not raising the minimum wage. They're not raising it. They're just raising prices for us to live, ultimately creating a more debted system. To control people, people must be in debt. That's ultimately what the government's doing. The more debt that you're in, because the money matrix right now is what truly runs the world, is money. And if you are indebted to the money matrix and you're controlled by the banking institutions, not even that's a private banking institution. There's no federal government institution. It's actually privately owned. And you're paying interest on money and that's being loaned out that they don't actually have. And then you're also paying income tax and more interest and more taxes on money that they don't actually have for them to continue to move money that's not actually theirs. Whilst you are struggling, this message is for you. Because an indebted nation, indebted people are very controlled, because people will do most things for money. They'll do a lot of things for money. They'll rat out their neighbor. They'll do all sorts of different scenarios. So if you want to break the money matrix, you have to find vehicles and opportunities for you to really break the law of the lid. What is your financial law of the lid? People don't understand that when I say, what's your financial law of the lid? What's your money lid? People say, I don't know what the fuck that even means. Your money lid is how much have you ever earned, ever? What's the most of you earned in a calendar month? What's the most of you earned in a calendar year? Okay, well, that's your law of your lid. Most people will never out-earn their employer mindset of the amount of money that's been given to them by somebody that says you are worth $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Especially when you transition over to free enterprise, most people will struggle earning or out-earning their income that they were receiving at their W-2 job. It's a fact, because that's the law of your lid. You'll only play to your lid. But there's a very few people, 1/20th of 1% of people, who break through their law of their lid, break this glass ceiling, because ultimately all that it is a glass ceiling. There's this financial glass ceiling over us, and we're like, oh man, 10,000. But then all of a sudden you earn $10,000 in a month and you're like, damn, that's really not that much money. And then you do it in a week and you're like, dang, it's not really that much money. And then you do it in a day and you're like, dang, I know that it's not really that much money. I mean, but we have all these different things that tell us that things are hard, they're difficult. It has to be a struggle. And yes, there's definitely going to have to be some intestinal fortitude and some skin in the game required on your end in order for you to put yourself in a position to win. What I'm saying is what is your law of the lid? And how are you going to break and shatter the glass of your law of the lid? You're going to have to sit down and get real with yourself. Number one, you got to get clear with who and what you seek to create in your life. Who and what you seek to attract in your life. Who and what you want to become, and who and what you are. And who and what you are letting go of. These are the first steps, getting real, rigorously honest about yourself. Are you following through with your words, your actions? With the words that are coming out of your mouth, does action precede the words? Are your words law? Do your words don't return void? What words are you speaking, and what actions precede the words that come out of your mouth? Because if you're following through on your word, then guess what? Your life will change. If you could just do one thing in the next calendar year, the next 365 days, the words that you speak, if you precede the words that you speak with action, then that will exponentially change your life in 1 year's time. Look at all the things that you said that you were going to do, you should have done, you wish you could have done, you should have, could have, would have. And then all of a sudden a year goes by, 2 years go by, and you look back and like, damn, I should have started then. Damn, I was so fired up, pissed off, and maybe even you were angry. And you said, maybe I should have started then. I was so excited to start, but then all of a sudden Monday came around. I was fired up. Tuesday came around. I was still kind of fired up. Wednesday came around. That fire started burning because I realized the mood that I set, the action steps in, the mood that I stepped the action steps in was ultimately a mood based on pure emotion and something that was going to burn out like a quick flame of a candle. Motivation burns out quickly. I live a highly relaxed and inspired life because when you're highly relaxed, you're highly inspired, and you have a relaxed intensity, the fire never burns out. Most people live off this, I'm going to do it. If I have to fucking do it, I'll grind my teeth and make it to the top. Man, I don't want to live like that. I lived a lot of life like that. What I'm here to do is I'm here to breathe, release, let go, live in a much more relaxed state of being. And in a relaxed state of being, I have more focus, intense focus, more relaxed focus. And then that relaxed intensity, I'm able to produce day after day after day after day. Wednesday doesn't come around and I'm looking forward to Thursday, and then all of a sudden I'm back into the bad habits that I had last Saturday or Sunday. Those bad habits are eliminated because I've followed through on the words that I've spoken. My actions, my words are preceded with action. If you were to pick up one thing, if you were to change your life in the next calendar year, if you were to take your annual income and make it your monthly income, the number one step would be to look at the words that you're speaking and do your actions precede those words. Are they matching up with what you're saying? Because ultimately, that's going to dictate your follow-through, and your follow-through is going to be the number one factor in the results that you create in the next calendar year. Are there opportunities out there for you to go make 50, 60, 70,000 a year? Yeah. Are there opportunities to make 50, 60, 70,000 a month? Absolutely. It's really up to you when you're ready to look above at the lid, the glass ceiling above you, the glass ceiling that's not even fucking there. It's imaginary. And you say, you know what? I'm about to shatter this glass ceiling. I'm about to commit to myself, my habits, my family, my future, and most importantly, my now, because I absolutely deserve it. When you can really step into a place of deserving, asking, deserving, and receiving. If you can master those skills, asking, deserving, and receiving, people are like, what? What do you mean master deserving? What do you mean master receiving? Aren't we supposed to just give? Yes. You give your gift every single day. That's the value that you bring into the world. You give your gift one day at a time, every single day. And it's a beautiful gift that you're giving, but you also deserve to receive. Deserving and receiving, and especially receiving, is a skill. It's a skill that you can master because then you can receive in grace, not receive in guilt. Most of us receive in guilt and say, you shouldn't. Oh, you don't have to. This is my actual price, but I'm actually, you know what? I'm not valuable enough to stick to my price because that's my value, so you can get half off. Nah, no more. There's no more half off. If your price is 30, it's 30. If it's 100, it's 100. If it's 3,000, it's 3,000. That's your price. And the right people will buy from you. The right people won't question. The right people won't ask for discount codes. Nobody's going to ask for discounts, refunds. The right people will buy and buy full price, and they will commit on the spot. You're looking for the people who are serious and not curious about changing the quality of their life. You're not looking for the bottom feeders. You're looking for the people ready and willing because that's who you are. Because when you become somebody who is committed, focused on creating results, guess who you start to attract? Like-minded prosperity partners doing the exact same thing. So in order to really change the outcome of the next year of your life, you first have to change who and what you attract. And by who and what you attract, you have to begin to let go. Let go of people, places, and situations that no longer serve you. Step into a place of breathing, releasing, asking, receiving, and deserving. Now, you probably got on this podcast and saying, well, how the fuck do I change my annual income into my monthly income? You decide. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time.